Hello everyone and welcome back for another episode of Hearthstone Ladder Climb. My name's Ikkaris, this is Ikkaris Gaming, and today we're back with episode 15 of our series where we are reviewing my Hearthstone gameplay as I try to climb all the way up to Legend. Now, just like our last episode, episode 14, we're taking kind of a detour here to check out one of the, in my opinion, one of the funner decks of the Boomsday expansion to play, the MechaThun Druid. In the last episode, we kind of saw how it can go right. Now, this one's going to be taking a look at how it can go wrong. With the prevalence of so many combo decks that are out there at the moment in the competitive or in the ranked ladder, we've been seeing quite a few anti-combo decks, which, as we'll see here, is one of them. So we're matched up against a Warlock. You can see he plays the Voidwalker on turn 1. So we're thinking right now that it's Zoo. We're thinking he's going to be dropping a Kobold Librarian or a Vulgar Homunculus this turn, something like that. We're thinking there's going to be a lot of minions coming down the way. We're in pretty good shape. We've got 2 Ferocious Howls, we've got Branching Paths, but you can see that on turn 2 there, he plays Howlfiend, and at the time that this game was happening, I was pretty confused by this move because I hadn't run up against an anti-combo deck, or at least I hadn't in a long time. So we're trying to play, we're just kind of trying to get a feel here. I think the reason to go hero power there was to try to get more cards in hand to get more value off the Ferocious Howl. Now you can see, now we start to realize that, oh, this deck is kind of anti-combo, because you can see with the Treachery, he puts the Howlfiend on our side and then attacks it, so we have to discard a card. Luckily, it was just the Wild Pyromancer. Nothing super vital. We don't really have anything to play there with the rest of our mana, so we just go ahead and attack face with the Howlfiend. Now, we have to assume that he's going to be trying to do as much single damage to this Howlfiend as possible to try to get us to discard as many cards as he can. So that's why we go with drawing 3 cards with the Nourish, which is probably the best play to go with anyway. Regardless, but we want to try to get as many pieces in our hand as possible. And you can see now the Despicable Dreadlord comes out. It's going to deal 1 damage. We're going to have to sacrifice a card. Again, Biology Project, nothing crucial to our combo. We're just going to go ahead and attack to get the Howlfiend off of our board. Mill 1 card. Not the end of the world. Again, we're not missing any combo pieces. We still have Innervate. We've got 2 Naturalizes in the deck, along with MechaThun. We go ahead and drop the Starfire onto the Despicable Dreadlord and let our Wild Pyromancer do the rest. Play the Ferocious Howl. And now we've got 2/3 of our combo ready. The only piece that we're missing at this point is MechaThun. So one thing that we're gonna, another thing that we're gonna be looking out for in a deck like this is like a Gnome Feratu, which of course, makes you discard the top card of your deck, which at this point could be pretty devastating because we don't know when MechaThun is going to be coming down. We've got 2 pieces, but we need the 3rd. So again, this deck depends on your opponent clearing out your minions for you. You can see he's gonna do us kind of a favor here with the Voodoo Doll into Ratcatcher. Again, not something we're super concerned about. We can go hero power off Malfurion to clear that out, but we go ahead and use the Bark Skin on Gadgetzan Auctioneer, kind of avoid the Ratcatcher. We'll let it attack the Scarab on the next turn and go from there. And so we see Skull of the Minari coming out. So we can also assume that this deck runs maybe Void Lords or Doom Guards, the standard Warlock fare. And so we draw the Jasper Spellstone. We're going to use Swipe here to just do a little more damage to face and get rid of that Rat Catcher. So we've got our Spellstone. So if we can gain enough armor, we should be able to clear out our own Gadgetzan Auctioneer. And so at this point, we're kind of using, we use the Nourish to draw as many cards as we can, because at this point it's about getting rid of all the cards in our deck as quickly as possible, because we now have all 3 combo pieces. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what we have in our deck anymore. It's just get rid of all our cards, play the combo, and we can see that he plays the Void Lord comes out from the skull. Does us the favor of getting rid of our Gadgetzan Auctioneer. We've got a full hand. We mill Biology Project, but that's not a big deal. Again, these are all cards we just want to get out of our hand anyway. So we go ahead and gain 6 armor. Gain more armor because we're anticipating maybe some heavier damage coming in. And start cycling through. Go Wild Growth into excess mana to draw the card. We have nine cards in hand, just kind of thinking, like, do we want to use one? Do we not? We can use that. Jasper Spellstone, use it on the Void Lord, create the little 1/3s, and so now we have a lot more sustain. He can only do 3 damage to us as of right now. We can see the skull didn't activate, so there's no demons to pull out from his hand. He can only do 3 damage to us per turn. So we can also, one thing that we can do here, if we see that it's an anti-combo deck, we can drop the Gadgetzan Auctioneer and use our Jasper Spellstone on our own Engineer, Auctioneer, to get rid of it, because at this point we can kind of assume that our opponent is or could be running, anti-combo or doing, it has some kind of shenanigans to screw us up. We already saw 1 treachery come across. We can be pretty sure that there will be another one. So at this point, it's all about just getting as many cards out of our hands as possible.
I'm almost out of cards.
So we use Wrath to get rid of one of the Void Walkers.
I'm out of cards.
And there we go. We're into fatigue now. So we need to get rid of our Gadgetzan Auctioneer as quickly as possible. One thing that we could have done here, because spoiler alert, this game does end up being a loss. One thing we could have done here was use our Innervate and Jasper Spellstone on our own Auctioneer. Now it would have put us into fatigue faster, but it also clears off. Our last remaining minion, so that that helps satisfy our win condition. We've got the branching paths for extra armor gain, and we can gain 3 armor every turn with our hero power. So we had quite a bit of sustain. We already have plenty of health, so we don't really need to worry about that. We can kind of see that our opponent's kind of figured out what we're running here. This can be a kind of a cautionary tale, as if you run this deck in a ladder or ranked environment, or just even against someone who kind of knows what you're doing, it can get pretty ugly for you. So at this point, again, we're trying to find a way to get rid of our own Gadgetzan Auctioneer, and you can see he's using Curse of Weakness rather, to take our Gadgetzan Auctioneer all the way down to 0 attack, so that we can't use it. Fatigue. So there, we go ahead and use our own Spellstone to get rid of the Gadgetzan Auctioneer. Now we're just going to dump cards. So we dump the Naturalize, use Faithful Dreadlord, give him some extra HP on his Void Walker. Use the Branching Paths to gain armor, dump our Innervate, gain more armor. And so now, again, we have the 3-card combo, but our opponent clearly knows what's coming. When you come up against a Druid that runs Gadgetzan Auctioneer and Wild Pyromancer and is not playing any minions and just cycling through a bunch of low-cost spells and cards, you can be pretty sure that it's MechaThun. And so now we get the Treachery into the Void Lord, which is just about the worst thing for us, because we're going to have a real hard time getting rid of this Void Lord now. There's no damage for us to run up against on our opponent's board. We can't play the combo because we still have a minion there, and the Death Rattle wouldn't trigger. So right now, and we're already 4 points into fatigue. So we're kind of thinking, we got to go into blitz mode here, and we can see that the Siphon Life hero power off the Blood Reaver Gul'dan is coming in. We're in a tight spot here, because even if we do manage to kill the Void Lord, you can see we're taking 5 points of damage. We're really getting fairly deep in fatigue. So having seen what can happen before, I've been up against opponents that know how to play around this deck. So what we decide to do here is just play the MechaThun and hope that we can somehow get rid of our Void Lord, get rid of all the Void Walkers, and hope that MechaThun survives long enough to be able to pull off the combo. And you can see our opponent kind of knows what we're doing here. We don't really have any other choice. So obviously he goes and kills our Void Lord, sticks us with 3 Void Walkers, which again are going to be very difficult to get rid of. And we're going to be taking 6 fatigue next turn, so it's really going to start adding up. We're only at 48 health. Plays the Gnome Feratu, so you can clear, and so that the 2 Gnome Feratus is what also clues us into. This is just a very anti-combo deck. There's so many tools in this deck to screw up your opponent's combos. We go with the 3 attack just to clear off the final Void Walker, so that we can hopefully on the next turn get rid of our three Void Walkers there against the Gnome Feratus and hopefully pull off the combo. But our opponent's got Twisted Nether and just destroys everything. The Death Rattle doesn't go off. We've got no minions, and our hero power is insufficient. So just wanted to give you guys a quick view of what can go wrong with this deck.